Hello, this is Dave Lee Travis, welcoming you to the Top 10 Auto Show. Over the past weeks, we've been looking at the best cars in their class available on the UK market during 2001. This week, we continue the countdown by looking at the lavish side of motoring with the top 10 luxury cars on sale during 2001, voted for by the editors of the top UK car magazines. Starting us off at number 10 is the Honda Legend. Space and practicality are the best assets of the Legend. It's luxuriously roomy inside, and you really get the feeling that this is a very well put together car. Also inside, luxury equipment is high on the agenda, all electrically controlled for your convenience.
Inside the cabin, you couldn't exactly call the design exciting, but exciting isn't necessarily what you want in a luxury car. You want a feeling of quality, and quality is what you get here in the Legend. There's wood veneer and plenty of leather. Everything is functional and it's well laid out. But the best bit about in here are all the gadgets that you get to make those long journeys as comfortable as possible. Things like air conditioning, cruise control, and controls for the stereo that are mounted here on the steering wheel. And whilst we're on the subject of the stereo, this one with a CD changer in the boot is one that you can actually use as soon as you see it. You don't need to study the handbook for a week beforehand, which is very useful. Now, of course, the Legend comes with a full electrics package, and there is stacks of storage space. There's even a power socket hidden away in here. And where would we be without cup holders? I've recently driven 1,500 miles in this car, and it wasn't the high levels of spec that made it so easy. I can honestly say I've never before truly appreciated how fantastic, comfortable and supportive seats were. Normally spending 7 or 8 hours behind the wheel of a car would leave you getting out with stacks of aches and pains, but I can honestly say I got out of the Legend at the end of the day and I felt fine. Behind the wheel you can feel the changes that Honda have made. The steering used to be very light, but some subtle changes have made it far more positive and direct. The 4-speed automatic box responds well, and on the road the Legend really does feel surprisingly agile. But the best thing about being behind the wheel is cruise control. It's absolutely addictive. On long journeys, particularly on those long, quiet stretches of European motorway, all you need to do is set your speed, relax and sit back to enjoy the ride.
With a name like Legend, you'd expect something, well, legendary, which it isn't. But then again, it does make for a better name than something like, well, it's okay. Number 9 in our countdown is a luxury car from the US of A, the Cadillac Seville. If the name Cadillac conjures up the image of a huge pink American convertible with chrome fins and Bruce Springsteen behind the wheel, then the Seville in a way won't disappoint you, although it's doubtful you'll get a Seville actually in pink. This car does live up to its reputation as a big, languorous luxury car with a real stateside feel. This Cadillac is more luxurious than the one Bruce sang about. It allows you to breeze away the miles in leather-covered comfort with all your added luxuries under electronic control for your convenience. The only problem is that Cadillacs are designed for the American market and not suited to British roads. It does have right-hand drive, but even that won't help you on those curvy country roads, and being such a heavy car makes for a rocky ride on the bumpy roads of Britain. At number 8 is a typically British car, the Rolls-Royce Silver Seraph. Equipment-wise, the Silver Seraph has everything you need, and I should hope so at a price tag of 159 grand. And power is in no short supply either. Beneath the bonnet lies a powerful V12 which allows this colossus of a car to go from 0 to 60 in just 7.6 seconds. As for how it feels to drive, who cares? If you can afford to buy one, then you can probably afford to pay someone to chauffeur you around in it. However, the chauffeur will find the driving position impeccable, but the dash far from ergonomic. But if you pay him well, he won't complain, will he? I suppose you're wondering why the roller isn't at number 1. Well, our expert panel have had to take many things into consideration when voting for our top 10, and while there's no question about the Seraph's style and performance, the sky-high purchase price and running costs bring its score right down, unless money is no object, of course, and that's the kind of person who drives a Rolls-Royce. At number 7 is another great British institution, even if it is owned by Ford these days. It is, of course, the Jaguar XJ8. Mention Jaguar and anyone over the age of 25 will think of Arthur Daly and Minder, but that only belies the image of a great luxury car.
Smart, sleek, stylish, leather-lined, expensive and exclusive. It's every inch the classic executive chariot.
Fantastic performance is supplied by one of the 3 V8 engines, from the hard-working 3.2 litre to the 4 litre 370 brake horsepower supercharged in the XJR. However, it's in the ride where you find this car is at its most luxurious. It smooths out windy bends and potholes on our British country back roads and has agile handling to complement its positive and responsive steering.
But underneath this smart, civilised suit there lurks something more sinister. A snarling 4-litre V8 pumping out 370 brake horsepower. So that'll give you 0 to 60 in a nudges over 5 seconds and enough road-going attitude to satisfy even the most rabid of boy racers.
Inside the saloon, the mix of wood and leather adds to the complete feel of luxury, along with a high standard of equipment as in all models. Everything is electrically controlled, including the seats, rain-sensitive windscreen wipers and a reverse parking aid. You wouldn't want to dent your 50 grand Jag now, would you? The XJ8 is let down slightly when it comes to practicality. The rear is unexpectedly cramped, the roof a tad low in the front, and the boot is too shallow to fit any more than a couple of suitcases. In fact, it's smaller than that of the Ford Mondeo. In all, however, the XJ8 is a great luxury car, and the safety and security levels are excellent too. At number 6 is the Bentley Arnage. The Bentley, like the Roller and the Jag, is a car you buy for the name. If you have 150 grand to spare, that is. And if you're successful or you've just won the lottery and you want everyone to know, you buy one of these. But costing more than most people's houses, these icons don't come cheap and financially don't make any sense at all, unless of course you're so rich that money is no object.
What I like about the Bentley is, unlike its famous stablemate, the Rolls-Royce, it's got a much wider appeal. Everybody from pop stars, Hollywood legends, obviously the rich, but even lottery winners all go for the Bentley. It's got something different. But the thing that I really like about it is that beneath the distinguished exterior, this wonderfully lavish interior, is something rather special, and it's this. Turn the key and blip the accelerator, and the sound hints at the awesome power of the Red Label's 6.7-litre turbocharged V8.
The Arnage comes in 2 models, the Green Label and the Red Label, which makes them sound more like a bottle of whiskey than a luxury car. Both sport extremely high levels of equipment with some extras you won't find anywhere else, and the upholstery and trimmings are excellent, but not as good as that of the XJ8 when you consider how much the Bentley costs.
The Bentley, it's got stiffened suspension, a stiffened body shell, and it gives it an amazing agility for a car that's just under 18 foot long and just over 6 foot wide. The way it handles really does take some believing at times. Bentley, of course, is now owned by Volkswagen. Yes, I know, yet another German company with a big hold on a British company. But in fairness, they've invested over 500 million in a range of new models, including the new red label. And I think they've made a damn good job of it.
That's all for the first 5. Join us in part 2 for the rest of the top 10 luxury cars. Welcome back to the top 10 luxury cars of 2001 as voted for by our Men and Motors panel of the UK's top car magazine editors. At number 5, shaken not stirred, is the Aston Martin DB7. The Vantage was the more affordable Aston in 2001. Well, at £95,000 it was much cheaper than the £158,000 Big Brother, the Vanquish, which will appear as the next James Bond car and has replaced the Vantage. The Vantage has been the best-selling Aston Martin ever, and for good reason. It represents British engineering at its best, and it's an impeccably constructed machine with styling to die for. The acceleration is awesome, taking you up to 60 in under 6 seconds, and the noise is just as exciting. What a car to show off in! In the complaints department, well, the DB7 is based on the old Jaguar XJ8 platform, which is just about acceptable. But using old Ford switches and what looks like Mazda door handles is not on really. But the name, the image, the styling, and above all the acceleration sells this car. And the V8 DB7 Vantage is at number 5. At number 4, classy, handsome. No, not me, it's the Audi A8. Audi's flagship is as luxurious as they come, with all the trimmings and equipment you'd require from a car in this class, and it's spacious too, with comfort throughout, especially behind the wheel where you have a myriad of adjustments to suit any driver. The A8 is one of the most handsome of the cars in our top 10, with its unmistakable Audi design. So it may not be a roller or a Jag, but it doesn't need to be, because it's an Audi. Thanks to its lightweight aluminium body, the A8 is a quick machine, especially in S8 form, which, combined with its pretty nimble handling, makes this Audi an exciting car to drive. You might find the ride a bit too firm though. An aluminium build is rare in this class of car, and so is the four-wheel drive as standard on all A8s. The A8 benefits from a reasonable purchase price for the level of luxury you get in return, but surprisingly poor residual value makes it an expensive option. Unless you plan keeping hold of it for a while, and being an Audi, you can make it last as long as you choose to keep it. At number 3 is another example of fine German engineering, the BMW 7 Series. For such a large car, the 7 Series is a delight to drive. Whether it's gliding round country back roads or eating up those motorway miles, this BMW is a pleasure for both driver and passenger alike, although there's still some room for improvement in the ride. The equipment list gets longer the higher up the range you go. At the top you can expect to find satellite navigation and even a dash-mounted television, so now there's no excuse to miss the Top 10 Auto Show, but please don't drive and watch us at the same time. All models do benefit from those luxuries that are almost a requirement in this class, such as climate control, leather trim and alloys. The 7 Series gets top marks for safety and security with airbags from all angles, anti-lock brakes and stability and traction control, to name just some of the equipment available to protect you and your car. As with the Audi A8, residual values are low, but that quality German engineering means you can rely on your 7 Series for as long as it takes to get your money's worth. At number 2 is Japan's finest, the Lexus LS430.
Ooh, la, 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 la.
During its recent makeover, the LS430 was given a new 4.3-litre V8, providing excellent power throughout. This means that not only is motorway cruising effortless, but also this Lexus can propel you from 0 to 60 in just 6.7 seconds. The V8 is so quiet it would make a submarine captain jealous. You'll need to keep looking at the rev counter to remind yourself the engine's still running. There is some wind noise, but you only notice that because of the lack of engine and road noise. In the cabin, you're faced with every sort of gadget available. Such equipment as electric windows are swamped by a fantastic array of electronic devices such as rain-sensitive wipers, keyless ignition, soft closing doors. The seats and steering can be adjusted in a variety of directions, and the full leather upholstery gives that unmistakable feel of luxury.
And it's fitted with the most sophisticated hi-fi system you've ever seen, designed by Mark Levinson, well-known Californian manufacturer of incredibly expensive hi-fi systems. Now, in the past, he would never put a system in a car because he always said, well, the ambient noise is so high in a car, you can't tell the difference between excellent hi-fi and truly great hi-fi. But in the Lexus, he thought it was calm enough and quiet enough in the cabin for you to really appreciate one of his systems. Let's see if he's right.
All this luxury doesn't come cheap though. On top of the 50 grand price tag, you'll find an average fuel consumption of 23.5 miles to the gallon and a high tax bracket. But to be honest, you're only going to buy this car if you're rich, so you won't care about money, will you?
Well, after a few miles, you have to say he was right. It really is uncannily quiet in here. You can't hear the engine. There's very little noise coming back from road surface or bumps and thumps. You really do rather want the radio or the CD on to block out the eerie silence.
At number 10, the only thing legendary about this car is the name, the Honda Legend. At number 9, this one's not pink, it's the Cadillac Seville. At number 8, the ever so typically British Rolls-Royce Silver Seraph. At number 7, there's no sign of Arthur Daly behind the wheel of this Jaguar, it's the XJ8. At number 6 is another typically British institution, it's the Bentley Arnage. In at number 5, shaken not stirred, the Aston Martin DB7. At number 4, almost as classy and handsome as me, the Audi A8. At number 3, an example of fine German engineering, the BMW 7 Series. And at number 2, Japan's finest, the Lexus LS430. And there you have it, from 10 to 2. And so, on to the number 1 luxury car of 2001. At number 1 is the Mercedes S-Class. We had to have a Mercedes in our top 10, and it's only fitting that the S-Class be our number 1. Widely considered to be the finest luxury car currently on the market, the S-Class enjoyed great success in 2001. The latest model is smaller and lighter than previous models and also enjoys stronger engines. Whether you have the base level 2.8 V6 or the tremendous 5.5 V8 AMG under the bonnet, you'll find the S-Class will take your breath away on the open road.
But what is the point in a sporty limo? Well, that isn't the concept behind AMG. You see, if Mercedes have got a roadster such as the SLK, AMG basically makes it more sporty. But if Mercedes have got a car like a limo, like the S-Class, AMG basically makes it more luxurious and comfortable to ride in.
Like the Lexus, the S-Class is almost silent on the road, and that includes the diesel. Again, you'll find yourself looking to the rev counter to reassure yourself that the engine is still running. So there you have it, the top 10 luxury cars of 2001. Remember to tune in next week for the Top 10 Auto Show. This is DLT saying goodbye. We'll see you next week.